What's up, y'all? It's Tisha the Diva, and this is for my ladies. This is my podcast where amazing things happen and we get to talk, discuss, and celebrate real women of color. This is for my ladies is just for you. This podcast is a place where I get to highlight not only my life dreams and goals, but yours too. I believe I was called to create a platform for myself to express not only my thoughts, but those of other women that's unfiltered and untamed. I plan to talk and discuss topics that interest me and other women. I want my audience to be engaged and aware. So any topics, email them to me at tishadediva@gmail.com. What's up, y'all? It's Tisha the Diva, and y'all already know what time it is. This is for my ladies. Welcome back, you all, to another episode of This is for my ladies. I am your lovely captain speaking. So I'm just kidding. But you all, I'm Tisha the Diva, and welcome back to Season 6 of This is for my ladies. We are on episode 101, okay? All right, you all. So I'm back with a new episode, but first, before I get started into, what I'm basically going to talk about today, first, I just want to say that not lately, but last week, I just want to shout out Miss Amina Willer. Amina Willer is a public defender, and she is running for Norfolk's Commonwealth of Attorney or Norfolk's prosecutor. And early voting does start on April 23rd of 2021 down at City Hall of Norfolk. So I have been reaching out and talking to Miss Amina, and I've been going out into the community, doing door knocking, putting flyers and door hangers on people's doors, and just letting people know about the election that is coming up. The actual election is June 8th, but early voting starts on April 23rd, and it lasts until June 4th. So definitely make sure you all come out and vote. Get your early voting in. Go ahead and get it out of the way. And basically, some of the facts are that Norfolk has the highest rate of incarcerations among African-American people. And also, a person that is of the age of 14 years old can be tried as an adult. You can't even really get a real job until you're 16, but at the age of 14, you can be charged as an adult. That's the problem. And, a lot of things as far as going to trial, people are just literally just lock them up versus just giving an option for any type of therapy or counseling. And it could be their first offense, and they're literally getting, 20, 25 years to life. So, we definitely want to make sure that we have someone that's going to represent African Americans. That's somebody that is a public defender. And we know, people get these public defenders when they go to court. Me personally, I'll represent my own self before I get a public defender to represent me. And I don't even know the law like that, but I can do some research, look up some cases and some studies and stuff. But we definitely want to have somebody that is going to represent us. She's not a politician, nor is she a prosecutor. She's a public defender. So that literally sets her apart from her other opponents. Whereas, we know how politicians are. They can be dirty, they can be grimy, they can be greasy. And they only care about pushing an agenda. And I do feel that Amina will be the perfect person for that. So shout out to Amina. She will be on the podcast next week. I went ahead and solidified that spot so you all can see her face and you all can basically, ask questions, who are you and what is it that you can do for the community? What is it that you can do for us? And just going forward, y'all know it's been a lot of stuff, as far as with Black Lives Matter. We've recently had a shooting down in Virginia Beach, and Donovan Lynch was, killed by the city of Virginia Beach police. And, according to some of the things that have came out, the police officer and this young man that lost his life to police brutality, to a police killing, they were classmates. I heard that they went to high school or something together. So come on now. That's just if I went to high school with y'all and seeing y'all out, I know you. I know who you are. Even if we didn't have like any sort of relationships or anything, I know you, and then I just kill you. Come on now. And I also heard that they call that police officer cowboy. So even that already, that just lets you know that, who he's doing it for, whose side he's on. But anyway, I definitely want to bring, I will be bringing Amina up there. And I reached out to the organizer of Black Lives Matter 757. I also reached out to him to also see if he could come on This Is For My Ladies. And I would really like to have him on the show. So if y'all know him, if y'all can reach out, if y'all can tag him, definitely make sure you tell him that he needs to be on This Is For My Ladies, okay? Because although we're doing it for my ladies, we do have a male audience, and men do watch This Is For My Ladies, all right? So I just want to go ahead and get that out of the way. All right. So y'all know last week I talked about, my experience in California and how California owes me everything. It owes me everything. And just to backtrack a little bit, I had reached out to a couple of people, and I was just telling them that I want to go to Tulum for my 32nd birthday. But I think I actually want to plan a trip to go back to California. And I want to invite people who basically had all intentions or wanted to come and visit me in California that's never been, that had trips planned, but things happened. And it was coronavirus. And I was just telling everybody, no, don't come. It's kind of bad right now. It's not anything that we'll be able to do. It's not as enjoyable. But as I told y'all last week, California is bust wide open, okay? It bust open like the Busted Challenge, all right? So with that being said, I wanted to come to you all this week and just share some things that you should consider before not just moving to California, but moving out of state or just moving anywhere, okay? So I won't be before you long. These are just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tips and 5 things to consider and 5 things that you should do and you must do before moving out of state anywhere, okay? So, number 1, save, and save, okay? Like, you cannot save enough. Moving out of the state is a huge expense, and there's a lot of things that you want to consider when you're moving out of state. And when you are saving, you want to look into how your expenses will increase. Your expenses will increase. They will increase. It doesn't matter where you go, but you're in a brand new place where, for example, your insurance, your car insurance, your utilities, travel, repairs, monthly subscriptions, food, entertainment, beauty, hair, personals, etc., etc. You really want to map out all living expenses that you need to basically live. So what I did was, I made a list, and, after I had called, Geico and all that different stuff, I just really made a list of all of my expenses and basically how they changed. My insurance, y'all, when I tell you I love driving, but I'm a horrible driver, okay? I speed, I cut people off, I have road rage, I love driving, but I'm not the best driver, but I'm gonna get us there and I'm gonna get us safe. I might get a ticket while I'm getting us there, but I'm gonna get us there safely. But anyway, my insurance, and I had called Geico and I had asked them, hey, I just recently relocated to California, and I told them that I would be here temporarily. I told them, and I was like, do I need to carry California insurance? They told me that I did. My insurance literally went from, I was paying $170 something at the time, and it increased to $257, you all. I was just like, what in the world? This is almost $300. That's an extra expense. So you really want to make sure that you save and you consider all of your expenses when moving to any state, okay? Number 2, always be working, okay? I mean, it's just simple. Of course, it's best to be in a career whenever you move into like a different state. And you want to make sure that you're in a career that's transferable or remote so that you can work from anywhere. If you know that you have a job that you can relocate, go for it. Like, if you know that you can literally work from anywhere, I say go for it. And number 3, hustle, baby, hustle. Like, that's just on top of working. You need to make sure that you also have like a side hustle or a side business. And if you know how to get up and get it, even with no motivation around you, let that be your fuel, okay? Be that light. Everybody has something going on, and you should too. Like, seriously, living in California, you meet a lot of people, and somebody always has something going on. You want to be the person that has something going on as well. Like, even if it's just working out, even no matter what it is, like, you just want to make sure that you have something that's going to make sure that keeps yourself motivated and your mind always occupied with things, and how to get more, and just whatever it is, just hustle, baby, hustle, okay? Have a car. Like, some people really move to other places and don't have transportation, or like, for instance, I sent for my car, but listen, LA, like I told y'all, LA is 10,000 acres. It's 10,000 acres. It's huge. And not saying this is not for people who are considering moving to LA, but if you're considering moving to LA, you want to just make sure you have a car. Yes, you can Uber, but I told y'all, I lived in North Hollywood. And I worked in downtown LA. And on a good day without traffic, it's a 20 to 22 minute drive. However, there was always traffic, so it was like a 30 to 45 minute drive. And your Ubers it can get pretty pricey. It can be really, really pricey. And there weren't a lot of Ubers or Lyfts coming to North Hollywood taking people to downtown. Like, it just wasn't. So you just want to make sure that you have a car no matter where you go. You want to make sure that you have it lined up so that your car can be shipped. There's a lot of transportation companies. I would have recommended the transportation company that I used to get my car to California, but when I tell you, they were a mess. They literally practically stood me up when I was coming back. I was literally at the airport, and I didn't even know how I was going to get my car back home. And I thought that maybe I should just stay. Maybe I should just stay out here, because so many factors, like a lot of things was happening. Like, when I was coming back, the day that I was leaving, I literally bust my knee at like 5 a.m, y'all. I should have gotten stitches. I should have literally went to the emergency room. That's how bad it was. Like, it was wide open, but I was just like, as soon as I fell, I was like, Lord, is this you telling me that I need to stay? Because I was like, because I really do need to go to the emergency room. I know I need stitches. But I still ended up, proceeded to the airport. Y'all, I get into my Uber. Well, I think I had caught a Lyft. Lyft is actually cheaper than Uber, so I actually prefer Lyft over Uber. And I be saying Uber, but I actually mean Lyft. But I get into the Lyft, and Notorious B.I.G. going back to back to Cali. I'm like, Lord, is this a sign? Do I need to stay? So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to just keep pressing. I'm going to just keep going, because, again, where I was living, where I was staying, I needed to get up out of there. So then I get to the airport. The lady was just like, oh, you're about to miss your flight and all that stuff. But I got TSA pre-check, so I ain't never worried about missing no flight. That's one thing. I ain't never worried about it. I ain't got to take all my stuff off. And TSA pre-check is only $85 for 5 years. If anybody that has traveled with me, y'all know I just go straight. I ain't got to take my shoes off. I ain't got to take all my stuff out my bag. I ain't got to take the earrings. I ain't got to take the jewelry. I ain't got to take none of that off. I just go straight on through. Again, $85 for 5 years. I highly recommend everybody to get a TSA pre-check, okay? Super easy. So my flight got delayed 2 times while I was at the airport. I was still researching, calling companies to transport my car back to Virginia. Everybody was between $1,500 to $1,800 to get my car back. Like, it was a mess. And I'm still sitting in the by the time then, I was sitting in a wheelchair because I really needed assistance getting around the airport because that's how bad my knee was messed up. Like, I had to go be in a wheelchair. But anyway, I was still searching for companies, transportation companies to get my car back. So I'm like, Lord, is this a sign? And I really do think that I ignore all of the signs. 1, from falling. I'm going back to Cali the song. 2, flight delays. And 5, and I was not able to find a transportation company to get my car back home. So I literally had left my car in California and came back, and I still didn't know how my car was getting back home. So I was just like, you know what? Whatever. I still need to come back home. I wasn't planning on staying in California. It was just temporarily. But again, I had some deciding factors. Like, if this happened, then I'll stay. Like, if I don't find a job, I'm going to go back home. I found a job. It was just a lot of things that I just really felt like I ignored. And like I said, I do feel like I came back prematurely. I think about California every day, y'all. Anyway, and if you do not, I know some people, they purchase houses and all that stuff, depending on your circumstances. So again, I'm going to give you, what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, the 5th one. Again, depending on your circumstances or where you're going, find a roommate. Get a roommate. There's somebody had told me when I initially was coming back home the first time, it was just pretty much like my living situation. Somebody had recommended roommates.com. And it links you with people within your budget depending on where you want to live. And I'm blessed. I was living, where I was living rent-free, but y'all know the stipulations that comes with living rent-free in somebody's house and all of that stuff or whatever. But while I should stay, it was definitely time to act like a chip and dip. So yeah, I definitely highly recommend you to consider all of those things before moving anywhere, y'all. Like, before moving anywhere, no matter if it's California, wherever it's been, LA. And I feel like if you're friendly, with good energy, people would naturally attract themselves to you. I know some people feel like, I don't want to move anywhere because I'm not going to know anybody. But if you're a person that has like really, really good energy and you're positive, people are going to find you. Like, literally, I decided that I wanted, granted, it was a pandemic. It was terrible there in California. I wanted to become social. I knew I needed to get out. I knew I needed to start meeting people. I needed to make friends. I was literally I was quarantining and I wanted to meet people. So, I did my trade, my skill is bartending and serving. I knew that I could easily find a job bartending and serving because a lot of places was not hiring, or, it was working home remotely and all that stuff. I was trying to get out the house. I didn't want to be in the house anymore. I'm in California in a place that's completely foreign to me, that I've been one time, but that was San Francisco, but I've never been to LA. I want to get out. I want to meet people. I want to know where the locals go. What's the underground stuff that everybody talking about that's invite only? I want to know about this stuff. So, I ended up finding a job downtown. Like, literally, I said that if I didn't find a job within 3 months of being there, I was going to come back home. Day 90, like 90 days of being in LA, I got a job. I filled out the application that morning. They called me, asked me if I could come that evening for an interview. Y'all, that was one of the hottest days in California. Like, it was the hottest day in California. It was like the temperatures was 130 degrees that day. I thought I was going to die. Oh, my God. It was terrible. I couldn't take it. But I got that job though. And you know me, how I am. Oh my goodness, it's so funny because our job would allow us to play music like from the iPad, and it set on like it was off of Seventh and it was off of Seventh and Flower. That's where I was, off of Seventh and Flower, and so we would play our own music. Y'all know I'm gonna get my little boom cat on, do my little 1-2 step, and I would just dance all day outside of the restaurant and stuff. And somebody was like, "You from Virginia?" They was like, "Yeah, yo, you dance like Chris Brown or something." I was like, "Oh snap!" You know, it was so much fun. It was a lot of fun. But I ended up meeting a lot of people working there, and it was like one of the places where the locals go. It's called Dublin's. So again, if you're in LA, I highly recommend to check out 10E. That's a Mediterranean restaurant where I worked at, and also check out Dublin's that's directly next door. So people from Dublin's will watch me, like literally watch me dance and watch how I was with my customers. And people from Dublin's would come over there just to talk to me or say hello. Or when I got off of work, I would go to Dublin's, and people, the locals, they was like, we've been watching you and you be dancing and all this stuff or whatever. Where you from? And I tell them I'm from Virginia. And it's just like, they're just like, oh my gosh, you would be perfect here. People don't have your energy. People don't have your spirit. Nobody is like you. Like everybody is just so standoffish. And again, these are local people who are from California. And, they meet me, and it's just like a breath of fresh air. That's why I got to go back. I was a breath of fresh air for them people. And they need a breath of fresh air because it's polluted with dirtiness and filth and, homelessness. And don't get me started on the homeless. Y'all know how I feel about that. Like, it's so heartbreaking. But anyway, again, if you have really, really good energy, like, you're gonna meet people. And that's why I started at work. The first people that I met outside of just, meeting people through, my roommate or, who I was living with in California, I met friends and people through my coworkers, like, my coworkers and, my managers who, check on me, and I'll text them, see how they're doing, or, we're still able to link through Instagram, or just different people who I met that came to my job that just recently relocated to California from like New York and Georgia and Maryland and all that stuff. Get their Instagram, and, we'll link. And if somebody invited me to something, I would extend the invitation to them too, because again, we're all from the East Coast and we're all looking for something to do. So again, just make sure you just keep that good energy. And just step out there. If you're shy and all that stuff, I mean, it's really not going to work for you. If you're the type of person that's shy and you don't really like talking to people, and you're not, you're afraid to step out of the box, it is going to be hard for you to meet people. It's really going to be tough for you. You want to try to engage with, please use the spirit of discernment. Like, don't just go befriending anybody because people are crazy. But you want to make sure that you really put yourself out there to meet people. I think that's super duper important. I really threw myself out there. But y'all know that's just how I am. That's just in my nature. Y'all know how I am. So, and I'm just sharing things that work for me. And I definitely hope that these tips work for you, and that you just embody just that energy that, whatever it is that's holding me back, or, that fear or anything, I just say do it. Fear is false evidence appearing real. So whatever it is that you put in your mind, it's probably 9 times out of 10 going to be the opposite of that. You just got to put yourself out there. And, it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard because you're outside of your comfort zone. So a lot of things is going to be uncomfortable, and you're going to want to move back and all that stuff. I started feeling a little bit uncomfortable because I was outside of my comfort zone. So I wanted to move back too. But of course I had to come back because I still had stuff all at my grandma's house. I mean, I literally just picked up and moved. Like, I didn't take care of nothing. I just left. So, I had to come back to get my affairs in order. And I came back so that, again, I could save, and use these same tips. But I already kind of got my foot in the door by already going out there and spending 6 months out there. So, it just really getting acquainted with the place. Oh, that's also what I could say. If you can, Go out there, wherever it is that you're planning on moving to. Spend a couple of months there. Go out there for a month, 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months, or however long before you make your final decision. Because some people like, oh, you going back to California? And I'm like, yeah, I'm probably gonna go back. I want to be back coastal, but I think I want to go someplace else. I do. I want to experience another place for a couple of months before I just make my final decision. But I am 100% sure that I want to be bi-coastal. I want to be bi-coastal. I want to be able to change the weather, change the climate. When it start dropping below 60 here, I want to be able to make sure I can go in a different time zone. Enjoy the weather. Do you hear me? Okay? That's why I need to make sure that this is for my ladies is going to be the main source of income so that, again, I can set up shop anywhere in the world and bring lovely podcasts to you all. Okay? So, with that being said, you all, make sure you all, if you have any like topics or anything that you all want to share, or even, any tips that you have as far as, relocating to a different state or a different place, whatever it is, any tips that you have, if you've done it before, leave me a comment, send me a little email to thisisformyladies at gmail.com, all of that great stuff, okay? So, as I said, make sure you check me out next week because Miss Amina Willard, she's like hyphenated, but I swear I can never remember that first name, that first last name. She got 2 last names, but Amina Willard. Make sure you all definitely check me out next week because we're definitely really going to dive into just those questions that we want to make sure that we're asking, our elected officials. So even if you have questions, and even if it's a question as far as on the legal side that you have, or somebody that's in the prison system right now that you feel like, didn't receive, what is it, due process or fair? I don't know all the terms, but if you have any type of legal questions, like we're going to get a little free consultation going on. So if you have anything, let me know. I'll definitely make sure that I ask her. And then, again, make sure you all come out for the early voting on April 23rd, 2021 at City Hall, 810. Y'all already know I used to go to the city halls to get the traffic light up for Gregory Bateman Jr. Shout out to Gregory. May your soul forever rest in peace, okay? And yeah, let's also reach out to the Black Lives Matter leader and see if we can also get him on the show. So we can talk about, what's going on. Because when I was asking for the leader, they was like, he was an absolute mess. And I want to ask him about that. Like, why do people feel like you're an absolute mess? What's going on? I want to ask those tough, hard questions. But anyway, y'all, that's all I have for you. If you have any questions or comments, or if you have any topic ideas, again, make sure you email them to me at tishadadiva@gmail.com. All right? So that's it for this episode. I told you all I wouldn't be before you long. All right? I am Tisha the Diva, and this is for my ladies, and I am out.